towns on Cape Cod have selectmen and a form of town meeting, so there's lots of opportunity for local residents to come in and make their voice heard. Unfortunately, in Barnstable, we have a very awkward form of town government. We have what's called a professional manager and a town council. It's a representative form of government, but it's not direct. It does not directly represent the voters. The voters have very, very limited opportunities to make their voice heard.
So they don't regularly attend meetings then?
The only voter participation is a very, very brief 2-minute comment period at the beginning of every town council meeting.
And 2 minutes for the entire group?
2 minutes per person.
Oh, 2 minutes per person to get up and speak.
But it's so difficult to make your voice heard in that brief amount of time that folks have stopped going to town council, and town council now is basically an empty room with just a few people talking to themselves.
Wow, that's a little bit different. It's our town meetings, and from Dennis and that, they usually have pretty good turnouts, I think, and we enjoy seeing them on the television too. So is yours televised?
Ours is televised, and it's actually available over the internet as well. So there's plenty of access, but your ability to make your voice heard and to participate in deliberations is so limited that most people just sit at home. They just watch it on TV. They don't even bother to get in their car and drive down to town hall anymore.
Yeah. Well,
the problem is with the structure of the government, because voters don't feel they can participate in the decision making, they've become very apathetic, and we have very low voter turnout. And as a result, the town has pursued some very aggressive policies that seemingly aren't in the best interests of the town residences. So there's concerns about taxes, there are concerns about the independence of the boards, there are concerns about excessive spending. There's a tremendous amount of spending has occurred in Barnstable over the last several years, and we have a very high foreclosure rate. People are having trouble keeping up with their expenses, and there's a general feeling that we'd like the town to slow down a little bit and let us catch up because they're spending more money than we have.
So the accountability is difficult to
I think accountability is a central issue. If your government cannot be held accountable, if your government does not respond to your concerns, then I think you have to do something about that.
You also have a different type of, you said split tax or something. Heard that phrase I hadn't heard before.
Oh, Barnstable has the highest residential tax on Cape Cod by more than $1. And part of the reason for that is the way properties are assessed. Residential homeowners are assessed rather high. I mean, the price of homes went up quite a bit over the last 8 years, and the town of Barnstable assessor moved valuations up very aggressively. At the same time, commercial properties like the Cape Cod Mall in particular, the value of those properties were held low. So as residential properties went up and commercial properties stayed the same, we created an imbalance. So the residents are paying more per $1,000 than the commercial property owners, particularly the big malls. And as a result, our taxes have gone up, and the Cape Cod Mall had more than $250,000 tax cut over the last 5 years. We'll have a deficit of between $5 and $15 million. We're expecting layoffs, at least 100 teachers, possibly 100 teachers, as many as 150 over the next 2 years, plus municipal employees, just to balance the budget. But that once the budget is balanced, there's still an issue of who's going to pay that. Is it going to be the homeowners that are going to accept all the responsibility, or the Barnstable businesses going to accept responsibility and pay their fair share? We don't know is to organize a recall election of the town council president. The town council president has misrepresented her positions to the voters. She said that she was in favor of the split tax. She was elected to her position on that basis, and after she was elected, she changed her vote. Suddenly she wasn't representing homeowners anymore, she was representing business owners.
So what resulted from that then? The people must have known about it.
There was quite a bit of concern. There was recall election organized a couple of years ago, immediately following her changing her position, and that, for different reasons, was squashed. So we backed off a little bit and said, okay, we tried to recall, it didn't work. Then there was a horrendous abuse of power that occurred regarding one of our boards. We have independent boards in Barnstable. One board called the Zoning Board of Appeals. It's a quasi-legal board. They approve zoning variances, and an issue arose on that board that the town council president played a very heavy-handed role in determining, and as a result of the participation of the town council president, the entire board resigned. There have been people serving on that board continuously since 1967, and they all walked out.
That's amazing.
It really was remarkable.
And the board, was there about 7, I heard?
I believe it was 7, yeah.
So now what did they do for a zoning board of appeals?
Well, they had to have an emergency recruitment session.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they beat the bushes, and they managed to find just enough people to reinstate the board. But the board now is extremely unqualified.
Gathering scratch.
Yeah, they just don't have it. And zoning issues are very, very specific technical issues, and you really need lots of expertise. And the town lost 100 years worth of expertise because of one very aggressive maneuver by the town council president and a few of her allies on the town council.
So they specifically named people then that's going to be on the special election. They're being recalled. Is there more than one? Or
No. It's a remarkably difficult procedure to organize a recall election, and so we've been focusing just on the town council president, and the reason is that the issue of the split tax and the issue of the zoning board of appeals are townwide issues. The town council president is elected by one very small precinct within the town, but the actions she's taking are affecting all of us. So we organized a group of folks from across town to focus on the recall of one town councilor in one precinct. So precinct 6, the councilor for precinct 6 is a councilor who's being recalled, and this person is also the town council president.